Good morning and happy Sunday, everybody. I'm Charlotte McGinnis, and as always, want to thank you for taking the time to join me either in person here at 11:11 on Sunday or anytime at your convenience thereafter. In case you didn't know, excuse me, in addition to being here on Facebook, I'm also live on my website, charlottemcginnis.com. There's a live stream option there. I'm also on YouTube. My channel is youtube.com/inspire YOUTV. So there you have it. You can see me on many different platforms. So that being said, if you like what you hear, drop some notes, get the conversation going in the sidebar. It's always fun. I can't really interact with this particular platform, but I certainly appreciate afterwards. And feel free to pass this along to anyone you think might be interested. So it's a beautiful day here in Flat Rock, and been having a good, nice visit with my sister Molly. She came to visit and been helping us with some projects around the house. So after this, we're gonna fire up the tower garden, get it all cleaned up and plant some new seeds and starts in there. So I'm excited about that. So thinking about health, thinking about things we can do to stand in our power, stand in our truth, and faith over fear. And there's so many things we can do to make our life experience more joyful, more peaceful, more productive, more purposeful. And it's just a matter of choices that we make. And also, I believe that faith is a huge component in our ability to literally move mountains. So what are we putting our faith in? The problem or the solution? Fear or power? The ego or the Holy Spirit? Or lies versus truth? Well, we're going to get into this, and I'm very excited about what I'm going to talk about today, because something I'm really interested in, and I do a pretty good job with, and I'm always working to improve because I believe in it so wholeheartedly, and I haven't mastered it, but that is really understanding supplements and food choices that really support our wellness and our ability to heal and to stay healthy. So I'm going to share some things with you that, we've talked about in the past, but I'm going to be more specific here. Speaking of which, of course, I've had this stinky cough, but it's getting better. But anyway, I'm not letting that deter me. I'm focusing on my outcome rather than the illusion of sickness. So anyway, this week, I was watching an interview with Tucker Carlson. He had a brother and a sister. Callie and Casey Means is their name. And Casey was a Stanford educated physician. And her brother Callie was a lobbyist for Big Pharma and the food industry. And both of them quit their jobs in horror when they realized how many people were being killed by the systems they participated in. And it was really an awesome and amazing interview. And much of this I know already, and I know most of you know some of this, part of it, a little bit, a lot of it. But either way, there is another, we are being programmed. This is not conspiracy. This is just sort of fact. We're giving our power away. We're not standing in our power. We're giving it to the pharmaceutical companies. We want a quick fix. Give me a pill, give me this, give me that. And as a result, we're not really taking the steps that we could be taking to live a more happy, healthy, and fulfilling life. And I'm talking obviously about our physical health, but also our emotional and our spiritual health. And to me, it's all one: body, mind, and spirit. So we need to integrate and build up all three of those legs of the ladder there, or the pyramid, I guess. So a couple of things they talked about, which, the big discussion, I think that years ago we heard about low fat. That's a good thing, right? So we just cut out fats, and then that didn't seem to work. I'm not going to go into everything from that, but healthy oils versus uh, seed oils. And actually, a lot of oils are one of the most toxic things we can put into our bodies. And mostly those are seed oils. So you need to do a little research on that. And if you want to eat the healthy oils, you're going to want to lean more towards organic, cold pressed, extra virgin olive oil, your avocado oils, and your coconut oils. There's oils that are very healthy, good for the brain, good for the lubrication of the body, and there's some that are very detrimental. Do your research there. Chemicals in food. When they were talking in this interview, the brother, Callie, he was a lobbyist for many years for Big Pharma in the food industry. And just watch this interview, go to YouTube. You'll be amazed. You may be like pie-eyed. It's 2.5 hours long. All three of us were glued to it. Even though we knew a lot of this, it's kind of like, here's people that are in the midst of the battleground here, and they knew of what they spoke. And so, chemicals in food and processed foods are very unhealthy. And yet we're eating those, we're putting them in our kids when they're just little infants. We're jabbing them up with vaccines, and we're giving them all these unhealthy foods that are really put out there to be healthy. They're not. We need to eat, things that are fresh, things that are natural and not processed. So fruits and vegetables and good healthy meats, grass-fed meats and eggs and all sorts. We all know what's healthy. I don't have to tell you. It's just a matter of us doing it. And of course, what's happened because we've been so poisoned by chemicals and processed foods, right? We have a society that's overweight, and so much so that children as young as 6 years old, they're putting on this Ozempic, which is a lifetime prescription, which is so unhealthy. And, there's people, celebrities and movie stars that are Ozempic fans because they're finally able to have that slim body that they've sought all their lives. But yet it's such an unhealthy thing to put into our bodies. So we have to really, what's the root cause? Why are we in this mess? Why are we so unhealthy? It's because we've been eating crap. And then to be just blunt with it. And through this, it creates lots of problems. There's a lot of problems with fertility and carrying the cycle of a pregnancy, all sorts of things, because our bodies are putting many unnatural things into it, right? So I find this is something that we need to really put out there. I liked what the fella Callie said. He said that, on day one of whoever gets to be president, this is a health emergency. We say that this is an emergency, that's an emergency, but we are less healthy than we used to be, and are aging where we were going up the ladder and living longer, we're living less. And it just doesn't make sense. We spend 3 times per person on medicine, on pharmaceuticals and healthcare than anywhere else in the world, yet we're declining in health. So it's about not blame, it's about education, awareness, and really responsibility for self. Everything we talk about here is really, it's easy to want to get into the blame game and attack and judge and point fingers, but ultimately my life is mine to really make better choices, right? Become aware. It's not about blaming these big bad guys. I mean, yes, we have to stand up and make decisions that collectively enhance the situation. But in addition to that, it's important that we come to terms with the fact that we've got to make more positive, healthy decisions individually. So what do we eat? It's been put in our heads. And, some people believe that, carnivore is good, keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian. There's all sorts of different options for food. That's something I'm not here to take a stand on anything, because I've seen people have positive effects from uh, every one of these programs. As a matter of fact, didn't know too much about carnivore. Never appealed to me, to be honest. It's strictly all meat and animal products, nothing else, meat and salt and water. And Ellen, who's had some digestive issues most of her life, in 3 months has totally healed, literally, through carnivore. I mean, when I say healed, it's healed. So not for me, but it might be for you, might not be for you, but you've got to seek and find. Well, I found they were talking, this gal, Casey, she was a surgeon. She was very intelligent, head of her class at Stanford, very intelligent, until one day she said, here's my scalpel, I'm quitting, and I got to find out what's making people sick. This is not right. Okay. So that's what we're here to do, is to learn and investigate, make some healthier decisions, figure out how we can do a little better. And this is really nothing too new. It's nutrition. I remember, gosh, 55 plus years ago, my grandmother was a pioneer in a lot of things, but she loved Jack LaLanne. And she would watch every day Jack LaLanne. And if we'd be down at her house, we'd get there and we'd stand by the chair and kick out our legs. And you all may remember Jack LaLanne, the juicer, right? He had those juicing machines, which those Jack LaLanne juicers were actually really good. Anyway, he was an advocate for fitness and health. And I mean, he had a very fit body, but he says that, prior to the age of 15, he considered himself a sugarholic. He was addicted to sugar, which is very toxic. And beware, if you have kids, look at the ingredients. I'll give a plug out to, there is a fella, Bobby Parrish. He's great. He has a YouTube channel, Bobby Parrish. He also has a little app on his phone that says Bobby approved. And so you get the app and you scan the barcode on food and see if it's something that he approves of. And when he approves of it, it means that it's clean, free of sugar and processed foods. So it's a great little app. You can get it for free, Bobby Parrish. So check him out. I didn't mean to digress. But I will digress a little bit more because one thing about this brother-sister, they had mentioned, here we are in this country that we're the medical model is you go to your physician rather than treating the cause and understanding the nutrition and the whole body. Okay, the whole body, meaning everything works together. We've become so specialized. We got literally doctors for like this little piece of your ear, heart, liver, lungs, legs, everything's so specialized and individualized. We've really lost the practice of holistic, that the body is all working together, right? Functional medicine is more looking at the big picture. I love Dr. Hyman. I love Dr. Berg, two doctors that have great content on their YouTube channels, Mark Hyman and Eric Berg. Check them out. But anyway, they were saying that I can't remember, Sweden, somewhere, one of the Nordic countries, that rather than prescribing drugs when someone comes in sick, the first thing the doctor will do is literally prescribe a ketogenic diet. So what's a ketogenic diet? It's good, healthy fats, lots of fruits and vegetables, not so many fruits as it is cruciferous vegetables. It's really the elimination of carbs, which are sugar. So carbs, I think that across the board we're finding out that those are not the best thing for us. So it's a matter of eating, being aware of the effect and impact that sugar, which carbs are sugar, and back to Jack LaLanne, sugarholic. He watched an interview or read a book or an article at age 15, decided to change his life. And well, you know who Jack LaLanne became, right? So interestingly enough, he took it to a big extreme. He was actually drinking a morning smoothie with 400 vitamins and supplements. Can you imagine 400 supplements and vitamins? That's crazy good. I think it's awesome. He also put some egg whites in there and a little wheat germ and some other powders that it's very interesting. But one thing that struck me is 15,000 what do you call it, milligrams, whatever, of vitamin C. Most of us, if we're doing well, think that 1,000 is good, but 15,000 a day. And so that to me seemed very interesting. His diet consisted of no meat. He did eat fish, lots of fruits and veggies. I think he had oatmeal for breakfast and no processed foods. So again, that was what worked for him. That was, and of course he juiced, right? So Jack LaLanne often stressed that artificial food additives, drugs, and processed foods contribute to making people mentally and physically ill. As a result, he writes, many people turn to alcohol and drugs to deal with symptoms of ailments, noting a stream of aches and pains seem to encompass as we get older. He refers to the human bloodstream as a river of life, which is polluted by junk food loaded with preservatives, salt, sugar, and artificial flavorings. So here we are. 60 years ago, he was teaching this. He was relying on evidence from the President's Council on Physical Fitness. Remember those little badges? And he also agreed that many of our aches and pains come from lack of physical activity. And yes, we all need to move more. As an immediate remedy for symptoms such as constipation, insomnia, tiredness, anxiety, shortness of breath, or high blood pressure, he states that people will resort to drugs instead and look for crutches, sleeping pills, pep pills, cigarettes, and so on, rather than exercise and diet, right? Supplementation. So it's so important that we understand that we are more in control of our physical body, our emotional, our spiritual body than we ever imagined. And yes, exercise is key. If you don't move it, you lose it, right? Well, another person, again, that none of this is really new. I think it's becoming more mainstream, these ideas and thoughts, because people are really seeing something ain't right here. And we had a wonderful lady, Barbara Stitt, who came to our Namaste Center. She lived here in Hendersonville, moved years back to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, where she was from as she was getting older and wanted to be closer to family. I assume she's still living. If she is, she's probably around 95. Very interesting woman, sweet, smart, and was a pioneer as well, like Jack LaLanne in the nutrition and how what we eat affects our behavior, right? Well, she worked in a juvenile detention center and saw the effects of, these, what were they eating? They were drinking sodas, sugar water, right? Lots of candy, sugar, processed chips and things of that nature. Once she cleaned up their diet, she saw a huge change in the behavior. So there is a definite relationship between diet and behavior. I think that kids are doing way too much sugar. Adults are doing too much sugar, and it has nothing positive to offer. So I would suggest, I don't have kids, but I do love kids and wish that every child could, be more natural and eat more healthy and exercise more. And, these screens have not done a whole lot of good for our mental and emotional well-being as well. And kids, they say they spend 7-8 hours a day on the screens, right? Not so good. So there is a crisis. It's a physical health crisis. We're in a spiritual crisis, because I do look at this as an integrative issue, mind, body, spirit. But the good news is there's so much we can do for ourselves. And, it's not like we can just sit back and say, okay, show me, or just fix it, God. No, God helps those who help themselves, right? So I think that what we can do is invite the Holy Spirit, invite God into our hearts, be guided and led to what would be the healthiest path for me to go down? What is the best option for me to, spiritually? What's the best option for me as far as what to eat? Really pay attention and understand that we are given free will and that we're at the power of choice. We have the power of choice every moment. And the choices that we make in this present moment determine our future. So today's a new day. Be born again, right? Well, I talked last week about a book study that we're into, and we had our first sort of get together this past week. You all are welcome to join us. If you're interested, let me know. It's called The Source of Miracles, and it's using the Lord's Prayer for healing and transformation. And it was written by a gal, Kathleen McGowan. And there's in the beginning of the book, she shares a story which really sets the stage for her spiritual awakening. And she was at Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, and she had gotten a strong message from Mother Mary. She was a very devout woman. She had walked this labyrinth, and it's a whole long story, but amazing. And the message was to the effect that you will be challenged. You will be told that there's no hope, that you'll be faced with a crisis. And the being who she believes was Mother Mary said, do not listen to the doctors. And sure enough, years later, with her birth of her son, Shane, he was not expected to make it through the night. He had multiple health issues, which were not, they didn't think that he would survive. Yet she never gave in to what the doctors told her, because she remembered that message. And she held on to her hope and her faith and that message. Don't listen to the doctors, have faith, have hope. And she sent out prayers, requests for prayers to all of her friends and family and the church, anywhere she could get it. And all of this energy directed to this young child and the family literally led him to a miraculous healing. And so, if we really do understand that the universe is vibrational, we live in it's a big energy field, and that our thoughts and prayers collectively are creating a situation, then it makes perfect sense. So we have to, step out of the fear, have faith, invite people to support you and pray with you. And so using the Lord's Prayer for transformation and healing is what this book is about. So join us for the book study. It's fabulous. And as I said, just reach out to me, let me know, and I'll add you to the list. Wednesdays at 11 a.m. So besides the physical crisis, as we know, the world appears, this illusion anyway, this projection of collective insanity it's kind of, whoa. And it's, we wake up to wars and insane politics and just all, this health and food crisis, you name it, financial crisis. And so, yes, it appears that there is crisis in the world, which in the dream, collectively, we're just sort of seeing where we all are collectively, because it's just a big quantum field of all of our thoughts projected on it. So, there's a lot of good in it too, but, we can recognize where maybe we can change it by changing our hearts and our minds about it. So, there is hope, as I said. And this just winding up here, I wanted to share just a quick line. Worship is really deciding to commune with God, with spirit. And it's an act of faith, trusting God, even in the hardest moments. So really, we have to surrender, trust God more now than ever. We have to tune into that still small voice and be led by that. Rise above the battleground. And when we do that, we become resurrected in truth. As A Course in Miracles says, what's resurrection? Well, very simply, our personal resurrection is the overcoming or surmounting of death, reawakening or rebirth, a change of mind about the meaning of the world. Seek not to change the world, but rather change our mind about it, change our hearts, and the situation change. It's the acceptance of the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the world's purpose and the acceptance of the atonement or at-one-ment for oneself. So it's the end of dreams, misery, and the glad awareness of the Holy Spirit's final dream. It's the recognition of the gifts of God. It's the dream in which the body functions perfectly, having no function except communication. The resurrection is a lesson in which our learning ends. We've done our job, right? For it is consummated and surpassed with this. It is the invitation for God to take his final step and the relinquish of all other purposes and interest, all other wishes and concerns. It's the single desire of the Son and the Father. So we're here to resurrect. We're here to rise above the fear and the conflict and the separation. And if we want this is our free will, right? If we want a healthy body, if we want a healthy mind, if we want a healthy spirit, if we want to resurrect, if we want to rise above all this stuff, then we have to the only person who can do it for me is me and you for you, right? We can support each other, but we can't do it for each other. So this morning, thank you again, Arlene, for these little daily words in my emails. But today is wholeness. And I'm going to close with this. It's the daily word passage on wholeness. I know I am whole, wondrously made, and a unique expression of the divine. But I cannot truly know wholeness if I become distracted by an experience of illness or thoughts of lack and limitation. I do not resist limiting thoughts. Instead, I let the light of divine understanding dissolve the darkness of spiritual ignorance. Remembering that divine life lives as me, I affirm my body's wholeness, even if I am experiencing illness. Growing awareness of the limitless flow of divine ideas reminds me I have all I need to experience a joyful, abundant life. And as I say, yes, again and again, to my true spiritual nature, my life becomes ever unfolding demonstration of wholeness. And from Luke, if then your body is full of light with no part of it in darkness, it will be as full of light as when a lamp gives you light with its rays. So we need to resurrect. We need to shine the light on the darkness. It's not about fixing the perceived problem. It's just about allowing the light to shine. How do we do that? We invite the Holy Spirit to guide us, lead us, and direct us. So we started out with food and exercise and things we can do from a practical sense. We're bodies walk in this world. We have physical needs, right? But so we need to tune in, be guided and led to make those choices that best serve us. And that is the greatest gift we can give to the world is, as I heal, since we're all one, everyone is lifted. So watch that video. I think you'll get a lot of, it's the latest Tucker Carlson video on YouTube. Terrific. Mark Hyman, Eric Berg, great teachers. If you're interested in understanding and you want to take a little more control of your physical body, tune in to, there's lots of spiritual opportunities out there. Just connect, make choices that serve your greater good and the greater good of all. Okay, everybody, have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. And Book Study Wednesday, Course of Miracles Friday, and of course, the prayer ministry is charlottemcginnis.com. You can submit your prayers, and we will have our prayer team praying for you. And that we love to see the miracles that happen from that. And if you feel moved to pass this along, thank you very much. Meantime, have a great week. See you soon. Namaste.